name is Katie Carson. Welcome back to Royalty Soaps and a brand new soap making month. This background behind me is temporary. As you guys have probably figured out by now, we have some crazy stuff going on. That's like the most YouTuber thing I've ever heard. Like, sorry guys, let me just apologize for my background. Or, sorry guys, sorry for my voice. Except for you can literally never tell the difference at all. They just sound normal. This month's theme is books. I felt like today's video was the perfect one to release first because I think it is like the most well-known probably of all the books and probably the one that most people relate to. So we wanted to start out the month with a big bang that everyone can feel good about. The Giving Tree was actually something that my mom read to me, but she only read to me a couple of times because it makes her cry every time and she doesn't like to cry. I, however, being the romantic that I am, absolutely loved it and would read it multiple times to myself and cry to myself alone as a child because I liked crying if I thought it was romantic. I wish I was joking, but I'm really not. And so, without further ado, let's make some soap. So in this bucket, I have a whole bunch of melted oils, namely olive oil, organic, sustainably harvested palm oil, which means it has no negative effect on the environment. It's RSPO certified. We've got some coconut oil, we have sweet almond oil, and we have castor oil. And castor oil is for some super bubbliness. And if you're new to soap making and you're wanting to start making soap, we have our oil mix pre-blended at nurturesoap.com. It makes it really easy for you guys to get a hold of it. So I'm just gonna pour our lye water solution into the bucket here. And then with this fabulous hot pink stick blender, come on now, everyone needs a hot pink stick blender if they're making soap, or I guess mashed potatoes, which apparently is the other thing people do with this. We are gonna blend this up on low until just past emulsion, so maybe 15 to 30 seconds. Split this off into 3 equal parts in my Dollar Tree containers because why would you pay more when you can buy from Dollar Tree? Bing, 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 and now for the design. So we're gonna have 3 different types of greens. We're gonna use mica from Mad Micas and Nurture Soap. So our colors today are New Leaf Green from Nurture, Maniacal Pea from Mad Micas, and Green Vibrance from Nurture. So into these containers, I'm adding a tiddly bit of titanium dioxide mixed with water. This is going to really boost those greens. I want them to stand out from each other. I don't want them to completely mix together. And now I'm going to blend them all up. Now, for the fragrance oil, I have concocted my own special blend. So because this is the Giving Tree and she gives apples to the little boy, I thought it would be a really good idea to have it apple scented. But I can't just do a regular apple scent. I'm going to mix up my own. So I have green apple explosion and red delicious apple, and I'm doing equal parts of both, so a 1-to-1 ratio. It smells stinking delicious. It smells like a Jolly Rancher that's been like, I don't know, even more apple-fied. So I'm going to mix this in by hand. I've already worked with these fragrance oils before and they work really, really well in cold processed soap. They don't do anything wonky to the batter. And I am gonna wait until this hits probably medium trace just because of the design that I'm trying to accomplish inside the soap. I'm not really sure what it's called. I've seen some variations on it that people use for sort of like a wood grain pattern, but that's always when they're cutting their bars differently than mine. So if you know the name of the swirl, feel free to tell me down in the comments below so I can add it into my soap vocabulary repertoire. Ugh, it smells so good. It's also pretty strong, which is something I typically like to see in fragrance oils for cold process because as the soaps sit and cure, they release some of that fragrance oil. So if it doesn't start out strong, chances are it's going to be completely gone by the time the curing process is over. I thought for book month it was really, really important important to do the giving tree because I've had so many people tell me that that was kind of a quintessential part of their growing up, that it means a lot to them, that maybe they had a special person in their life who always liked to read them that particular book. So based on all of those comments, the last time I did a literary collection, I was like, all right, well then I'll be sure to include that in future literary inspired creations for sure. And some of these greens are turning a little bit wonky. That's also pretty typical for green micas. They kind of go from something pretty to something a little ugly to something pretty again. It's normal. Now I have this wonky looking bucket that I got from IKEA. It was $2. What a purchase. And I am going to use that to do the pour. So I'm going to start with one green here, and then I'm going to do a darker green. I might even break the fall a little bit with my spatula so it doesn't like completely pierce the top. It kind of stays a little closer to the very top than down at the bottom. Then I got this new leaf mica. I'm going to do the same with that. Break the fall a little bit so we have very distinct swirl between these guys. By the way, this video is not sponsored by Nature's Garden. They just sent me this apron. So you want to see me pour? Well, you can after this quick commercial break. Now with my long, skinny little spigot, I'm going to guide the soap down the molds like so. Most of the green is gonna come out first. What am I saying? It's literally all green. Most of the new leaf green is gonna come out first. And my goal here is to make these horizontal stripes that when cut kind of look like bark. That is the goal. So I'm trying to keep these lines in the middle as straight as possible. You can see they're coming out pretty straight. A little wiggle is okay. That's kind of how tree bark naturally is. And this soap is basically at the most perfect thickness to do this. It's gonna switch and come over here. If this particular loaf gets a little more than the other one, no big deal because I have to refill the blue container anyway. I've refilled again and it's getting a little thicker, which is, woo, actually kind of good. So I'm kind of pouring a lot. There could literally be an entire compilation that's like Katie trying to be a professional for 15 minutes straight and failing. When I'm like, here, let me show you how to do it, and then just messing it up. Honestly though, it's not gonna make any sort of difference as far as the design is concerned to have a little more coming out at one time. Oh yeah, look at those lines coming through. Some of them are a little bit hidden, but you can probably see it on the side. Oh yeah, look, it's like a little snake. You know, this kind of reminds me, there was a book that Kenny and I read when we were kids. It was called Verdi, and it was about a little green snake that lived in the Amazon. That's what this reminds me of. Isn't that funny? It reminds me of another book. Rad. I'm scraping it out to get this last little bit in here. Gotta scrapey, that weird blue container. Okay, so now that I have all the soap in the molds, I'm going to tippity tap them down. Marvelous! All my wildest dreams have come true. So I'm gonna scrape out the rest of my containers just to get those little tiddly bits on top, and then we're gonna mix up the soap frosting. So my soap frosting is all set up. I'm gonna go ahead and start on this end and start putting it on top of the soap. I really like the way this is turning out. I also have a little bit of mica that I have leaked down the sides here. It's very minimal, but whenever the bars have cured, I think that little extra sparkle is going to be really nice. So a lot of you guys have asked for a VidCon vlog, and we did start vlogging there, but very quickly I stopped. Honestly, it was just one of those events that would have been really boring. I mean, unless I was hunting down what would be the equivalent of like a celebrity YouTuber to talk to you guys, like it just wouldn't be fun to watch. It was me walking around and going to a bunch of sessions, quite frankly. The one thing that might have been cool to see would be the Studio 71 party. So for those of y'all who aren't all hip with the YouTube YouTube lingo and whatever. Studio 71 is a management company, and they're actually who has been managing me for the last year and a half. And my manager was like, no, Katie, you should really go to this party. It's going to be really big. It's like the biggest creator party of the year. Come to Anaheim. You've got to go. So I did. That was kind of my main reason for going to Anaheim, was to go to that party and to hopefully meet people. Being a YouTuber can be like sort of an isolating job because in everyday life there's just not a lot of people who do it. So I thought this would be really cool to meet other people that have the same job as I do. So Kenny and I went to that party, and I am gonna spill the tea. I'm gonna spill the tea! The actual party was amazing. So it was at the House of Blues in Anaheim. So it was huge. There was tons of food. It was just a massive venue, and in every single room was an open bar. So they spent a lot of money on that party, and honestly, it was so well organized and so put together. And Kenny and I were VIPs because Studio 71 is our company, even though lots of people who are creators were invited, even if they weren't part of that network. But being VIP let us have access to like exclusive areas and that sort of thing. And Kenny and I, we don't go clubbing, you know, we don't really do that sort of thing. So this was a very new experience for us. And I think my major problem was that I went in with wrong expectations. I was a little bit naive and was like, oh, cool, I'll be able to talk to people, you know, maybe make some YouTube friends, people that do the same thing I do. But when I walked in, it was very clear that like everyone was gonna stick with the people they already knew. Nobody was walking around making new connections. We interrupt this story for me to start putting in these red apple embeds. This is the embed for this soap, so I'm just gonna put one on each one of the bars. And I will also say there were loads of people at this party. When we got there, we skipped the line, again, because we were like VIPs or whatever. So there were 500 people in the line waiting outside to get into this party. Just so you'll know, there are over 2,000 channels on YouTube that have more than 1 million subscribers, which means that everyone's kind of famous in their own right, but quite frankly, no one should expect anybody to know who they are because there's just too many of us. So I certainly didn't walk into that party thinking, hey, me with my little soap channel, everyone's gonna know me. And nobody else should have assumed that either, besides Jacksepticeye, who was probably the biggest person at that party. Really super nice guy, by the way. He is very authentic and very genuine in person. So when I walked in and started trying to talk to people, I just kind of introduced myself and was like, hey, are you a creator too? Or are you a +1? Or all the normal questions you would ask to try to be really friendly to someone you had just met. People were not having it. And to this day, I still don't know who most of them are. They could be YouTubers that have like 17 million subscribers and I wouldn't know. I did recognize a couple of people when I went. Like, I literally kind of almost knocked Tana Mojo over. And I saw Joey Graceffa. Like, there were lots of people there that y'all would definitely know. But the people I was talking to, I don't have any clue who they were. And I think basically everyone there thought either two things. Number one, that I was a fan and I was there to harass them, even though I had no clue who they were at all. I was just trying to be nice. Or number two, that I'm in it for like clout or something, was just trying to use them and be like, hey man, check out my channel, we should collab, blah. I'm gonna spritz this with rubbing alcohol, by the way. It was just very bizarre. I just couldn't talk to people and be friendly without them assuming that I had some sort of ulterior motive, or so it seemed. I'm gonna take a little bit of this biodegradable Gold Digger glitter. This is from Eco Stardust, and I'm gonna put this down the sides. And you know, maybe it was just a bad night for them or whatever, but still, I didn't get a good impression. But some people that I got an amazing impression from, and really were just some of the nicest, most genuine people. Sophia Nygaard was one of them. She is really exactly how she seemed on camera. She was so friendly. Another person is Echo Gillette. If you guys know who Echo Gillette is, she has a really cool art channel. She is the bomb. She is so nice, so down to earth. Christine, Simply Nailogical, really cool person. Now, I met all those people, but the people I'm about to name, I just saw them interacting with their fans and they were so nice. The David Dobrik group was really nice, just as a general rule, to all the people that they were talking to and meeting eating, they were smiling, they were jumping into other people's vlogs that they were shooting there. Like, they just seemed like a really cool group of peeps. I'm sure there were other people that I saw. I'm sorry, I can't give you guys like a YouTube celeb play-by-play. I'm not as educated on YouTube as I thought I was. I thought I knew all the people that were like famous, but then I didn't realize how many people are famous. Is the moral of this entire story that I'm really old? Maybe. But I think more than that, I just want people to be nice to other people. And going to that party with all of those YouTubers who had, you know, all of their channels were over probably 200,000 subscribers, really just kind of showed me that people can get a little bit big-headed when they think that they're famous. And it also showed me that I really appreciate people who don't do that. Being kind and friendly should be the status quo no matter how many stupid YouTube subscribers you have. Because at the end of the day, if YouTube blows up, who are you then? You're not Brad Pitt, I can tell you that. Now I'm gonna spritz this real quick with this Sparkle Me Sunshine spritzer. This is just to kind of get the ridges of these soaps, kind of make them stand out a little bit more. It's got those nice gold undertones like the rest of the greens in this soap, so I think it's gonna really match. I don't want you guys to hear me say all those things and think, wow, she hated VidCon. I totally didn't. I had a really great time. Our flights were amazing. It was really cool to see the venue. It was really well set up. I also don't want you guys to think that I didn't like everything about other YouTubers or whatever. I just kind of thought it reminded me of high school where there were like cliques and people were just, you know, unless you were in with the in crowd, you're a nobody, and I don't like that. You guys know how I am on this channel. I want everyone to feel good about themselves. I want everyone to feel included. I always wanted to be the kid in high school who sat with the people who didn't have anyone to eat lunch with, and yeah, so that's kind of just my general takeaway. And that's it. We're basically done with this soap. I'm gonna give it a few quick spritzes with rubbing alcohol, and so this is what the Giving Tree soap looks like up close. As you can see, there's a ton of gold glitter on top. We've got the cute little red apples, and then we have the mica drizzle mixed in with the soap frosting. So we're gonna let this sit for 18 to 24 hours, and then we will be back to cut them all up and take a peep at the inside and stamp them after this quick commercial break. We're back to cut the very first of the book soaps this month. This can also technically be considered, I guess, a back to school month as well, because almost all of these books you have to read in school. I'm gonna flip this on the side. Look at those wavy lines. It's like one of those cosmic waves. So I've got to line this up properly, otherwise we won't have whole apples. Right? Line that up, press down, the apple smell coming through strong. So let's pull one out of the middle here. What the crap is going on? That looks so cool. It looks like the inside of like when you cut through a tree and you see those little round circles.
They're called tree rings.
Those little round circles. It also kind of looks like bark. I'm really thrilled. Okay, but seriously, what is going on? There's like some glycerin river action up here. I almost never get those, but it really works for this design because that looks like a blooming tree. Also, this green with that green with this gold and that apple. Yes, please. Now these are all going to be stamped with the Royalty Soap stamp because in the Shel Silverstein illustrations, you can see that the little boy comes back with his little lady and they carve their initials on the tree. So we're just going to put the Royalty Soap stamp. I did think about stamping it with something else, but if I put some initials in there or something, it wouldn't necessarily be y'all's initials. So you put the Royalty Soap stamp on there and no problems. So the question of the day is, and this applies to everybody, but I know some of you guys aren't in school anymore, so this just applies to when you were. Did you go back to school in August or September? I had a couple of friends in the UK whenever I was in school, and they were going back to school at such a different time than I was, and I was like, why? Why? Why are we going to school like 6 weeks apart? So to vote in the question of the day, all you have to do is click the I in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. So let's stamp these. Time to stamp. So I've got my bar here. It's been sitting for a little while, about 2 weeks-ish actually. And that's just because we wanted to give it plenty of time to harden up. It makes the stamp look so much cleaner if you wait a little while. We've got my acrylic stamp. This is from Bebe's collection. It is an Etsy shop, and I love those guys. I've been using them for years. I use them for all of my Stamply needs. So I'm just gonna put that right in the middle. I'm gonna give it a whack, 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 and ta-da! And once again, this is kind of representative of the boy who comes to the giving tree and carves his initials of him and his lovely lady into the tree before he chops her down.
R.I.P.
Going to line it up. Ta-da! This stamp is really easy to do. There are certain stamps that are not as easy to do because they have a lot more detail, but a circle with a basic logo on the inside is a lot simpler. And this is what the final bar is going to look like. So you can see, by the way, for those of y'all who are like, how big are your soaps? I have very large hands, and it's almost as big as my hand. It will last you a good 50 to 70 washes. So they're really big. I think it looks super cool. I'm totally getting Giving Tree vibes. I feel like anybody you give this to is totally gonna know what it is representative of, especially with the really cool label we're gonna put on the outside and what we're gonna call it, which is Giving Tree. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Aren't those glycerin rivers cool? I dig. This soap will be available to purchase on September 7th at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you enjoyed this video, you can give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, leave us a comment down below. You can go follow us on Instagram. I have a personal one, Kenny has a personal one, and then of course there's the Royalty Soaps Instagram. We're getting dangerously close to 100K on the Royalty Soaps Instagram, and when we do, I'm having a big fat giveaway that you won't want to miss. Be sure you do something fun for yourself today, whether that is grabbing your favorite reading pal, settling in, and beginning perhaps a novel. Ooh, wouldn't that be fun? I used to read novels with my best friend Caroline all the time when we were kids, like out loud to each other, the whole thing. That's a lot of free time I had with her. Or maybe even calling up someone that you love and haven't talked to in a long time just to let them know that you appreciate them. Either way, do something that makes you happy, and I'll see you guys soon. So until then, bye for now. Meow.